Welcome back. We're just about 45 minutes away from the return of the jury in the Loud Music murder trial. Michael Dunn faces life in prison if he's convicted of murdering 17-year-old Jordan Davis in 2012. This happened at a Jacksonville gas station. Now, today is the fourth day of deliberations, and the jurors will pick up in the wake of a question they asked. A question that some are describing as a bombshell, maybe? The judge read it aloud last night. Listen.
The second question is this: is it possible to not reach a verdict on one count and reach a verdict on other counts? The answer to that is yes.
Joining me now is defense attorney and former prosecutor Tanya Miller. So what is this question? First, welcome.
Thank you.
What does this question tell us about where they are potentially?
Potentially. Okay, the key word is potentially. Potentially there is a split back there. It could be 11-1, it could be 6-6. We don't know that yet. But it seems like they want to know, listen, if we have reached a verdict on some of these counts, but we're struggling with another, what can we do? Do we have to keep going? What are our options? So that could signal that we might have a hung jury at least with one of the counts.
Now, some might consider that, okay, maybe they've made a decision about the attempted murder charges, but they're hung on the murder charge, first-degree murder charge. On a Friday, if a jury has gotten the answer that, yes, you can be hung on one and still come up with a verdict on the others, why not just deliver it on Friday and go home for the weekend?
That is exactly the thing that I was thinking. We were just talking about this off the air. Listen, when juries have been deliberating for a substantial period of time, and in a case like this, for the number of days they tried this is a substantial period of time. They normally want to reach that verdict by Friday and be done. It was Valentine's Day. They're sequestered. The fact that they went back at it again and are coming back on Saturday tells me that, listen, either they think there's a hope that they can either bring this one person around, or they're so close to reaching a verdict they want to give it another shot, or you know, they just don't want to let go yet. It could be that there's one person holding on. It could be that there's a big split. We just don't know, but they haven't given up.
So they've made other requests. They wanted that dummy that was used during the testimony. Also, they wanted more of the surveillance tape that was actually shown in the courtroom. What could they possibly be doing with that?
Well, you know, the surveillance video is interesting because it did not depict the parking lot where the incident happened. It depicted the sound of the bullets. So I suspect, and I could be wrong, I suspect they are going through what Michael Dunn said happened, going through what the witnesses said happened, and trying to listen to those gunshots and figure out how quickly the gunshots went, what they sounded like. Was it a pop, pop, long pause, and then more shots, or were they all sequential and happened quickly? That could be significant to them in weighing whether or not Michael Dunn's version or claim to self-defense was credible. Looking at the dummy with the dowels, the trajectory of the bullets, again, is trying to figure out, is Dunn's version credible? How did these shots enter the victim's body? Was he turning away? Was he coming toward? So it's a way for them to look at objective evidence and measure it against the testimony of witnesses to try to figure out what actually happened.
You know, there are comparisons being made between this trial and, of course, the Zimmerman trial. You have a male who was shooting a teenager who, Dunn says that the Jordan had a gun. The police never found one. First, is that comparison between these two men, is that comparison fair? Is it accurate? And also, what are we learning, or what can we glean from their deliberations in the Dunn trial going longer than the Zimmerman deliberations?
Wow, you know what? Listen, to answer your first question, yeah, I think it's fair. When you look at sort of the objective facts of the case, we have a 17-year-old African-American male in each case. Both of these kids were doing something they had every right to do. One was walking home with Skittles and iced tea, the other's stopping at a gas station to get some gum. We have white males who are adults, armed, who perceive these kids as threats and have shot and killed those kids and claim that they did it in self-defense. So for those reasons, and the fact that they're both in Florida, the fact that they're being tried by the same district attorney's office, those are things that obviously make these two cases appear to be similar. I think that the Zimmerman case, if you're talking about self-defense, would have been a case that you would have deliberated longer on, because you didn't have a witness who could tell you, like you do in the Dunn case, what happened from start to finish. The Dunn case isn't even close. So the fact that they're deliberating this long, look, it might not be that they've are thinking self-defense is appropriate. It could be that they're just trying to figure out second degree versus first degree versus manslaughter.
All right, Tanya Miller, I always learn so much when we have this conversation. Thank you so much.
Victor. Anytime.
Christy?